Alright guys, TacticalRab again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Loads of juicy stuff coming out today on the present and future of the CDL. We'll certainly get into tomorrow morning, but we've got to dive into the big games that went down tonight. Incredibly important in terms of the trajectory of the rest of the season. Vegas Legion getting oh so close to beating OpTic Texas in a remarkable round 11 we shall dive into in the coming minutes. Very much enjoyed to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I greatly appreciate it. We'll dive straight in. I thought this was going to be a speed run. It turned out to be that way. 251.80 game one here. This was semi-competitive on the Fortress in the later half. FaZe took over. They close out game one. Good map, I think, from Slasher individually. He went 25 and 18, I believe, here, but good performances really across the board. And then it was very quickly into game three. The search and destroy aBeZy was swift as you like. 6-1, I believe it was in the end, something like that for FaZe. They took it down without too much of a fight, and then the control a swift 3-0. Funny really, because it looked like for a time that Guerrillas might hold on here and extend the game, but then aBeZy decided to kill all four of them, right? I mean, look at this moment. He gets one, gets two, picks up the tack, and then gets the final two as well. So, I mean, when this happens, you know it's just absolutely GG. Nothing Arcitys could do. He dropped, what was it, 3 on this map not long ago. Here he drops 8, but Arcitys and Fennis did have a good game one. The Crews came in. The Cruisers were doing some damage today as well, and, well, Cellium takes down one from the sky, and that's GG. Man, it's not even worth watching some of these series. To be fair, it gets this way every year, right? The teams at the bottom, they're all just fighting for their own individual performances and league spots. It's kind of just irrelevant watching them play the top 3 teams. There can be upsets for sure. We'll obviously talk about the next series here. This was pretty funny from FaZe's social media, to be fair, in terms of the Los Angeles Guerrillas blueprint, but in general, they were looking pretty good. And yeah, these were the numbers. Not really too much more to say, I would say, on that series. FaZe a quick 3-0. LAG not looking so good. I wonder what LAG do next year, right? Who do they build around? Arcitys. Okay, first of all, I don't know what's going on with Guerrillas. Is it even going to still be here? We know that they're trying to sell. Is it still going to be called the Guerrillas? We don't know. Are they going to be forced to field a team because that's what the rule says for the CDL? It's a big question. But yeah, who are they going to build around? Who would you guys build around if you were the GM? You could say Arcitys, but I'm not super convinced. Like, I think JoeDeceives is probably the most likely candidate. Okay, he had a bit of a stinky series here, but I think in general he's been probably their most promising asset for the future, so just want to keep your eyes on going forwards. Let's dive though into this Vegas versus OpTic series. So actually second and third on what the CDL consider the strength of schedule to be. You can look at it different ways. You can look at it in terms of league placing as it stands, average placing, but if you look at it for opponent series win percentage, you'll find that Surge actually have the hardest schedule, then Legion, then OpTic, then Ultra, etc, further down. But Legion, undeniably a very hard run for them. I thought if they could get a result today, it would put them on a good spot. And look, they still can make a run here, but it's going to be tough. And today, I expected them to come with the fire. They did come with the fire, but it was they reverted back to Paris Legion moments, right? It's like you can take the Legion out of the Paris, but you can't take the Paris out of the Legion, is what one might say about this. So anyway, the point of an OpTic though is that they trialed out some new maps here, and this is probably the key reason why this series went the distance. To be honest, was that OpTic played maps that they're pretty terrible at. Embassy Hardpoint, Hotel Search and Destroy, and aBeZy Control. These are maps they don't really play. Okay, they play a lot of aBeZy Control, but they're not good at it. They like Embassy Search, they're fine at that. They're good at Hotel Hardpoint, definitely. But Embassy Hardpoint has been their auto veto for some time now. You can see this is their overall season so far. Their Hardpoint veto, the majority of the time, at least lately, they get rid of Embassy straight out of there. And you could argue that, okay, Thieves last year, they had an auto veto. They never played Bocage, but in that game, there was 4 Hardpoint maps. So vetoing 1 and being very good on 3 was an acceptable avenue because they were super good on the other 3 in general. This year, having an auto veto and having to be very good at 4 is more difficult, especially when Hydro can be exposed a bit by some of the other good teams. And, you know, even Mikado, there's some good teams on that, and Fortress is never a guarantee, neither is Hotel. So I think that's where OpTic run into the issues. Like, they need to get better at Embassy. They don't play it much. In Control, they try and veto aBeZy if they can, but of course, sometimes you're going to have to play it, and it's kind of been the map that's let them down in the grand finals the last 2 events, so they want to get some more reps in there. And then Hotel Search and Destroy, that's generally their veto there as well. Okay, they veto aLLeY a bit, but they played 3 maps here they never usually play. So I think this was the correct thing to do for OpTic. They're guaranteed champs. They're obviously still a great team, obviously in the S tier for most people, right, as it presently stands. So I think this was a wise decision, but iLLeY generally turns up pretty hard against OpTic, and that certainly was the case going into game 1 of this one. Shotzzy had some good moments here that maybe a thumbnail worthy, but iLLeY was the absolute difference maker here on aBeZy, and yet again, it's got to be said, there were some moments here on this P3 where OpTic just they just hate looking at the ladder. I don't know what it is. It was the same thing earlier this season, right? When they used to play it a bit, there was that ladder moment where they didn't watch the ladder. He goes up the ladder and he gets the kill. It was a shambles a bit of a while ago, and even Huke made that questionable play wrapping all the way around. So there was a few moments, right, back in, what was it, Major 2 or whatever, where there were some highly questionable plays being made by OpTic on this particular map mode combination. And look, they run it back, they play it a bit more. iLLeY still almost drops 40 here in the game 1. And I mean, look, it's got to be said that OpTic have some work to do here, but you know, that's why they play these maps in these type of series, right? Against teams that expect to beat in Vegas, they want to get more reps on these type of maps. And I think if they improve those things, look, when you get match reps, you understand where your mistakes truly are and where to be fixed. So I don't think they should be too concerned about it. But yeah, iLLeY went massive game 1, 38 and 24 from him. And just to show their aBeZy record lately for OpTic has not been good. They've lost a lot of them to plenty of teams they've played. And, you know, once again, they're continuing that streak of defeats. I think they're, what, 2-8 or something on this map mode combination so far this year. But, you know, of course, that's the reason why they play it, to try and get better. Spicy Club, I'll just share for you guys here with Scump and Methods talking about the sound equalization. They did go on to confirm that, like, probably all the guys in the lobby are using it because it's online. But kind of implying that Vegas have been particularly good online before because they're sound EQ merchants. But then again, probably everybody is.
Legion, remember, Legion, they had a tough major, but they were 4-1 online. You know, they're
sound EQ.
Sound EQ merchants.
See, we go back to P1 here with the tiny lead for the Legion. They got some good time off P1 last time. I don't think it's going to be.
To be fair, I'm mostly joking, but I'm also not. Like, that shit is big.
Sound EQ?
Yeah.
Oh, it's huge. It's a completely different game.
Yeah. So we go into the search and destroy here, and there was a few moments here in this search where Vegas will really, they should have won both searches in this series, man. I mean, they really will feel like they should have done, because this game too, okay, 1v2 for Ghosty, it happens, right? Ghosty was 15 HP, Temp can't quite get the job done, he gets snaked, and you know, at this point you're losing full already. Ghosty wins the 1 versus 1, and there was another couple of rounds of 2v3 that Ghosty and co won, and then the final round iLLeY had no chance with the sniper. So I think this was 4-2 to 6-4 for OpTic. So impressive comeback from them, tie up the series at 1-1, and this would, if Vegas had closed that out, been a 3-0, because Vegas inexplicably win a control. Now this goes to show that OpTic's aLLeY control is not particularly good and not where it needs to be. If you're losing to Vegas in control in any context, it's a bad sign. aBeZy managed it, right? He managed to beat them on Fortress a while ago. So definitely this will be a wake-up call for OpTic that their aLLeY control needs even more work, because it's let them down in the grand finals twice now against Toronto and Thieves respectively, and if you're losing it to Vegas, never particularly good. But if Vegas are getting better at control, and they were getting better here, they showed signs of improvements in this control and they won it, and this is the key for them. If they can get to even 40% control win rates, like, they've got a shot, because they're good at search generally and they're solid enough in a hardpoint. So they just need to get better here, and maybe OpTic would have steered it onto a different map had they not wanted to get some more practice here. Maybe they'd have won that if that was the case, but still, it's interesting to note. Good to see Vegas improving, and yeah, in the end, Temp makes a phenomenal play towards the end of this map to close it out. What a kill he got there onto Dashy, and was just killing absolutely everything here. So Vegas win a control, just absolutely incredible stuff to witness, but it was no real surprise when OpTic went on to one of their bread and butters here on Hotel Hardpoint. They took it very comfortably, 251-75, and go to a game 5. Here we go. This again, I mean, honestly, you can't make up some of these rounds. Look at what happens here. The Scump was mind-blown, and for good reason. So Stanley's going for the kill through this wall. Dashy's stuck behind the door here. Stanley goes for the wall bang, leaves himself with 6 bullets, and now he goes for the chow, runs out of bullets, goes for the knife, and gets knifed. I mean, you simply can't make this stuff up. If he gets that kill, there's a good chance they win this round because they needed to plant, and it was certainly not going to happen when that happened. But if Dashy goes down there, then they could have made it work. So, I mean, yeah, man, some of the decision-making, this has always been the question, right? With certainly Standy, in all the teams he's been on, his decision-making has never been his greatest strength, let's just say. His slaying is good, but in moments like this, it kind of let him down, right? And this could have been a big round. This had been 2-0 up, and obviously it eventually goes round 11. Not a map that OpTic generally are super comfortable with anyway, and Vegas generally had the front foot for this entire game. They were on the front foot for most of the time. There were some good plays being made by Vegas, got to be said, and Huke eventually goes down here to TJ, but, well, it was TJ who apparently made the tragic call that put an end to their time in round 11. So here we go. First of all, OpTic's round 11 record, not good at all. 2-8, Vegas is 6-3, so of course they'll be feeling confident coming in, as they should do. Playstart, unfortunately for him, auto-mantles and gets killed by Ghosty, but then the next 2 kills go the way of Vegas. They get the trade onto Ghosty, I believe, and then they also kill one more over towards the A side. They kill Shotzzy in top of A. So that leaves Huke alive, who kills Standy over here towards B, and then there's Dashy alive as well. Now, in this situation, look at the minimap here. Temp has the bomb in hand, TJ is over here in top bedroom, and they have control of A. They don't know this for sure, right? But there's 25 seconds on the clock. If there's anything you want to do here, you've got to just get it down at A. You killed the guy at A who was Shotzzy holding for info. You got rid of him from top bedroom earlier. You killed the other guy who was kind of holding the middle side of the map. Maybe Dashy's alive here bottom, but if he is, and if he gets the kill, fair enough, right? But you've got to try something, because Huke was spotted over towards B. They make the call to run B here, and Dashy just stays alive and guns them both down. I mean, just tragic stuff. Trolled, auto-mantle, GG says Clay. Super frustrating. And Doug was like, what was Donnie doing there? Why didn't he plant the damn bomb? As Doug says, like, just press square. It's not that hard. We know that Doug is a great bomb planter. And Tem actually responded and said, I haven't run the bomb once since MW19, and I'm grabbing it round 11. Once iLLeY Standy died, I asked TJ what he wanted to do. He said, let's go B. I trusted the Pioneer. Now, I think, if anything, this was like a high IQ play that was actually low IQ. It could have worked in some circumstances, but it wasn't a good idea. And they really shouldn't have gone for it, right? But they might have got away with it, because Shotzzy thought the bomb was down on the guy, I think, who killed Standy. He thought he had the bomb. So that's, what they expected. So that's why they played for B. But because Temp had the bomb, which he doesn't usually have, because Standy usually runs it, then OpTic thought they'd probably go B, but actually they had the A site for free. So actually Temp carrying bomb was a high IQ play, because OpTic thought, oh, Standy must have the bomb on that kill you got, Huke, so let's just stay B. But, then they could have got A, right? So, I mean, man, what a misplay from Vegas. It's just classic tragic moments from Vegas, right? They get so close, and then when push comes to shove and it really does need that one extra level to just get over the line and get those 10 CDL points, it doesn't happen. So OpTic were more relieved than anything to get over the line here. Game 5, round 11. The numbers look like this. So look, I thought this series was going to be close. I told you guys today that I was expecting a Game 5 here, and that's exactly what happened. And OpTic did clutch up as I thought, but not in the way I expected at all. So introduce your thoughts in the comments below. Feel bad for Vegas, but I just hope that they can kind of rally off this to a certain extent, right? If they can take some of the energy from this defeat, or at least from the performance they showed, because they were very competitive, and can bring that into the next few series, they can still make something happen here. But it's moments like this where they'll look back on the season, they'll think, well, it was our fault fundamentally why we didn't make champs. And one final speed run to close out the day. I did not expect this series to be as quick as it was, but Toronto versus Surge, and this was an absolute bloodbath, right? Hotel. Now, look, as I said this morning, Pred only just got back from Australia, so their practice won't have been great, and Toronto will have been putting in the work. 250, 168 game 1. Game 2, Search and Destroy. Toronto need a good bounce back at this stage in Search, because if they were like 50-50 in Search last stage, they would have probably made top 4, I think. They'd have been in winners. They'd have probably made top 4, I think, to be honest, with how bad their Search was last stage. They simply could have won one to save their lives. They've obviously been putting in the work. Insight gets 3. Look at this kill on Mack as well. I mean, again, it's a moment like this from Mack where you've just got to think, right? He gets the shots on, and then Insight just guns him super hard, and not one that Mack could really afford to lose there. So they go down 2-0, and in the blink of an eye, it's a 3-0 whitewash. So, I mean, honestly, Surge, man, what is going on with this team? I'm sure we're going to talk about it in the coming days, because they have been regressing. We know that Pred wasn't happy with how they performed back at Major 3. They place even worse at Major 4, and now they start out like this against a solid Ultra team for sure, but not exactly a Thieves or an OpTic as it stands. So, yeah, man, this was ugly. So, very much intrigued to hear your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.